Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're joining us from in the world today, and whatever time it is for you right now, welcome to the Women in IP Global Networking event. Now in its 15th year, this event has gone from strength to strength, and this year's theme is the important topic of being happy and healthy in our work. If you've attended an event before, you'll know that it's tradition for us to share some thoughts from AIPLA's executive leadership and the Women in IP Executive Committee. So please enjoy the following videos.
Well, hello, I'm Vince Garlock, the Executive Director of AIPLA, and let me express my greetings on behalf of all of us here at AIPLA headquarters. You know, this event underscores what a great role the Women in IP Committee plays in bringing together practitioners from around the world. 49 locations over 5 continents. Truly remarkable. And how important those connections are today more than ever. I know you will appreciate this time together. I want to express my gratitude to the leaders of the Women in IP Committee, to those of the committee members who have planned this worldwide event, to all of our hosts for the various events, and of course to you participating. I know you will enjoy this time together, and if you aren't already, I look forward to you getting engaged with AIPLA. Thank you.
Hello from South Florida, and welcome to AIPLA's 2022 Global Women in IP Networking event. I am Carol Thorstad Forsyth, Chair of the Women in IP Committee and partner in the IP department at Fox Rothschild. First, I would like to highlight our hosts for these events. Their generosity is much appreciated since it allows hundreds of women across the globe to gather and network in a way that is aligned with our committee's mission. I would also like to thank each of you for attending these events. Our hope is that you will strengthen and create new relationships among our current members. For those of you who are not currently members of AIPLA or the Women in IP Committee, we welcome you with open arms and hope that you will join our committee. The committee's mission is to inspire and empower women in IP to reach their potential. The committee develops content, leads initiatives, and holds events like this one to facilitate its members' professional development and to reach a truly balanced and inspired life. Some of our other programs include local community service events, virtual IP huddle programs similar to Lean In, Working Moms Group, a Women to Watch program, a speaker bank, and international delegation events. If you have an interest in learning more about these programs or becoming actively involved in the committee, please reach out to me. I hope you all enjoyed today's events. Cheers.
Dear friends, welcome to the AIPLA Women in IP Law Global Networking event. My name is Cindy Kwan, Senior Partner of Beijing Long'an Law Firm. As the Asian liaison of this event, it's my honor to organize today's meeting in Asia Pacific region. At this time, when the COVID situation is still not optimistic, I'm particularly grateful that we from all over the world can gather here to join this meeting online. In this event, we'll share a variety of wonderful activities held in various countries and regions, make new friends, gain deeper understandings of each other. Meanwhile, we will share our thoughts, clear confusions, talk about opportunities and challenges in IP field. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you are enjoying the event.
Hi, and welcome to AIPLA's Women in IP Global Networking event. My name is Elaine Spector, and I am Chair of the Outreach Subcommittee for AIPLA's Women in IP Committee. Amazing committee. We are so excited to be relaunching our in-person events throughout the world, although we do know that some of you will also be meeting virtually. The pandemic has really provided us with a unique opportunity to not only connect with women IP practitioners in our local communities, but also in our international communities. I know that I have benefited from that as I've met so many women over the years, both in person and virtually. Whatever way you're connecting with us today, my hope is that you will connect with someone new. We are building a network of strong, empowered IP practitioners. I hope you have a wonderful time.
To echo the sentiments of those videos, thank you. Thank you to our hosts and to you all for joining us today. As chair of the amazing subcommittee that's organised this event, I'd also like to thank each and every one of my liaisons for all their hard work and effort. Finally, a message to enjoy yourselves, make new friends, reconnect with people, and take lots of photographs. Please share your photographs on social media using the hashtag WIPNE so we can share them with our network and bring everyone together today.
Good afternoon, everyone from APLA, and welcome to your private safari. Hi everyone, my name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next hour. I'm very excited to take you on your own private guided safari. Please send me any questions. I'm very keen to get involved with any ideas or comments you might be wanting to share with me. I'd like to welcome Helen, Luz, Ronnie, Tembiwe, Cecile and Andy to the show. I've been following a herd of buffalo for the last hour and a half now, and I need your help. I'm trying to decide whether or not to loop around to the front of these buffalo or to hang around the back to see if they're being followed by any lions. So if you could let me know what you would like me to do here, it's going to help me out immensely. I hope you are all settled in for the next hour. You all have a drink, you're all sitting comfortably, and let the show begin. This is a huge herd of buffalo that we've been following. We did see them this morning. We were lucky enough to relocate them this afternoon. Cynthia, I would love to see a lion too. This is why I have been keeping up with these buffalo, because we do know that lions eat buffalo. But I've been torn between whether or not to get to the front of this herd or to stay at the back. It's a huge group, well over 100 animals. And I keep stop, start. So I think I'm going to let you guys advise me on what you think the best plan is. I would love to see a lion too. We haven't seen any lions for a few days now, but I am quietly optimistic that because we have buffalo here, there may be lions that are following. I'm going to head around and see if I can get you a nice visual of this group of buffalo. They're over to my right in these thickets here, and we keep getting the odd oh, here we go, they're up here on the road. It's a huge group of buffalo with some little calves as well. There's also some huge big bulls in this group. Cecile, I shall be staying at the back then. This helps me out no end. I've been sort of going around them, going to the side, trying to decide. But Cecile, thank you very much. This is your call. I will loiter towards the back of this group and we will cross our fingers. They've been steadily moving northeast for most of the afternoon. I did find them on our power lines, all having a snooze. Oh, look at this little one. We did see a big old bull that was on his own, but that's not going to be the easiest target for lions. It's lovely and cool now here in Djuma. It can't be hotter than about 28 or 29. Which is a lovely, lovely afternoon. I'm going to send you all across to JP now to see what he has over there in Pridelands.
Good afternoon and welcome to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we are at a dam that's referred to as Leopard Dam, and we're just enjoying that late afternoon sunset. It's still approximately another 35 minutes until it hits the horizon, and at the moment it's quite windy out here, which is all great. I'm really hoping that the wind is going to still maintain a consistent speed, and very soon when the sun starts dropping closer to the horizon, there's a very good chance that a lioness that we found this morning, which is now hiding in a drainage line, might come out and start hunting, as these are really good opportunities for hunting. So my name is JP LaRue, and behind the camera we've got BK for the afternoon. So other than that, I also do know that there's a number of you that would love to see elephants. And this drainage alignment we are going to use towards the area where we did find the lioness this morning is generally very productive for finding elephants. So Elisa, I'll be keeping my eyes open for you for an elephant. And as that you love coffee as well as elephants, I'm going to do my very best for you to see what we can do for this afternoon. But in the meanwhile, let's just enjoy a peaceful moment of the mirror image of the sun on our beautiful dam. Good evening, and welcome to the show. Not at all. I'm very well trained in how to deal with lions, both on foot as well as in a vehicle. And as long as you're in a vehicle and you remain seated and you don't stand up and you don't hang your arms and your legs out of a vehicle or make sudden movements or calls at them, then you're perfectly fine inside the vehicle. That's also one of the reasons why we do a very good briefing with our guests before we head out on safari, so that they're aware of precisely what they can and cannot do in the back of a vehicle. And those are such important features to discuss because it ensures both the guest's well-being as well as that of yourself and the tracker that you work with. And when we're on foot, I'm not also really too concerned about lions, as long as you don't wake them up while they're sleeping, or while you're bumping them while they've got little ones, or busy feeding or mating. Everything seems to be always good. They'll just tend to run off when they see you. However, at night time, that becomes a very different game, and that's why we don't do walks at night. But for now, let's go and see what Cedric is up to, and he would love to come and say hello to everybody.
Hi everyone, welcome here at Chitwa Dam to your private safari. Apla, how are we doing? My name is Cedric, and behind the camera we have got Eagle Eye Craig. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, we are sitting at Chitwa Dam and we are absolutely watching a beautiful scenery that we've got here. We've got a couple of hippos that's lying in the water. And now and again we see them, their heads bobbing up and down. But as you know, the hippos really utilize this big water hole as their territory. They are beautiful animals, and they'll spend most of their day in the water, just relaxing and not really doing too much during the day, during the heat of the day. Usually you'll find that these hippos at night time, once the sun starts setting, once it becomes nice and cool, you'll find that these hippos will start moving out of their water holes, and they will go and search for a little bit of better grazing areas. Of course, they do eat grass, but they are very grass specific. Sometimes they can venture out for great distances, 15, 20 kilometers, really looking out for any grass species during the night time. And then early in the morning, you'll find that these hippos will come back into the watering hole. So now why they're actually sitting in the water hole most of the day like this is because you'll find that the hippos, with the harsh sun that we do have here, if they do not have the, hello, giving us a bit of a yawn. As you can see, how this big mouth, where you can really open those jaws really wide. But you'll find that, of course, well, even a little one, hey, of course, they're all giving a bit of a yawn. Of course, it's getting to the late afternoon. I think they're slowly but surely ready to get, getting a little bit more active, knowing that they are going to venture out. But the main thing is why they use this watering holes and why they are in the water during the day is just to make sure that that skin is nice and kept wet and moisturized all the time. Salo, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this private safari. Yes, I'm hoping as well that we have a great afternoon and we have some great sightings for you. So we are definitely going to be looking around. You never know, as you know, the bush here in the Greater Kruger Park and the surroundings reserves, it's always, you have to expect the unexpected. So sometimes you're going to be sitting at a dam and you're just seeing the wind blow and seeing the beautiful hippos just enjoying the watering hole, and then all of a sudden things could change very quickly. So that is always a good thing. But yeah, stay glued to your seats. I'm really hoping that we can entertain you, and you know that you can always send us beautiful questions and comments. We are here, and keep us entertained, and we keep you entertained. But unfortunately, these hippos, they tend to love going down and up and down and up under the water. But they are definitely really, sometimes they can become really entertaining as watching them. And they are quite big. You look at a big hippo, a big male, about 2 tons. 2 tons, 2,000 kilograms. Very, very large. And they can run really quick. You'll think such a big animal with really short legs cannot run quick. Trust me, they can run quick. They're looking at about maybe 35, 40 k's an hour. Linda, good afternoon. A wild dog or caracal? Well, we never know. That's what I say. He's always expect the unexpected. A caracal, that's. I've been in the Sabi Sands for 16 years now, and I think I've seen 2 caracals, and both of them were very brief visual. But it's always possible. There's always a new thing every day, and there's always a first for everything as well. So Linda, I'm actually really holding thumbs, and even wild dogs as well. Definitely, I love wild dogs. They're absolutely amazing, and we do have a few packs around in the Greater Kruger, but they're the second most endangered carnivore in Africa. So I'm just really holding my thumbs for that. And I think as well for those hyenas, I'll maybe make my way to that hyena then. Oh, hello. Okay, see, look at that dominance display from a male. See how he flicks his tail like that, just making sure. There's very much a dominance, so he'll flick his tongue around just to make sure that everybody knows that he is the dominant one around there. Fantastic. Very, very nice. But yeah, we'll also go take a look if we can maybe follow up on some hyenas later. Or actually, maybe we'll head into that direction not too long from now. And then we're going to take a look. I'm just hoping that somebody is around at home. But you never know what we'll bump into on the way there as well. So there's always the other possibilities. I think I saw some giraffe. Baboons, yeah, we can also definitely. Well, a good afternoon. Yes, so maybe we're lucky. Maybe we get some zebras, maybe some baboons, some nice primates. We'll take a look around. Zebras will have to look around more in those big open clearings. They love those big open clearings. They're more the plains game, so you'll find like your things like the gnu, the blue wildebeest, and the zebras. They like the big open areas. So yeah, that will be the best areas that we can really look around for the zebras. And of course, baboons are more like to the side of those big drainage lines where the big trees are and that. So they just kind of make sure that they use those trees as safety in case of there's any danger around. They can climb those trees, and plus those jackalberry trees that's got those beautiful jackalberry fruits that the baboons will feed on. So we're definitely going to take a look around the areas, and hopefully we can keep you entertained with all those. And as well, you never know. Even giraffes and batelia. I'll definitely look around that as well. Anyway, while we head out from the Chitwa Dam, let's head to Kelly. I think she's got an impala that's got a bit of a frown or a worriness to it.
Could you go in there? I need to read something. I'll say we were looking at an impala. So I've just stopped here on the cut line. We just saw a nervous looking impala in here. And I just want to double check and make sure he hasn't seen something that we haven't. So Cecile, you'd like to see dung beetles, giraffes and batalias. We have seen a couple of dung beetles, but it's coming towards the end of their season. Giraffes and batalias, quite possibly. Elisa from Kentucky. It's already the morning time with you and you're drinking coffee and you'd like to see an elephant. We will see what we can do for you, Elisa. Peter, who's currently in Washington, wants to see some primates. We could get some monkeys. Maybe we could go back to around the camp a little bit later. Cynthia, you're hoping to see lions. You've never been to Africa. Kittens? Absolutely see the resemblance, very much the predators. Michelle, you'd love to see a brown hyena. I've actually worked with brown hyenas before. They are amazing, amazing animals. And Linda would like to see some wild dogs. Linda, there was rumours of some wild dog tracks south of the property this morning. I don't know if they were ever substantiated. I've lost visual of this impala in here now. So I am going to continue up the cut line. I've got a nice clear view behind me as well. These nice broad roads are actually lovely to work because we've got good visibility in all directions. The connection with baboons and impalas, they're not necessarily connected, so we will find one without the other, but if they are in the same area, if there's baby impalas or around the breeding season, these buffalo are crossing up here, around the breeding season, baboons will actually hunt baby impala, so they are less companionable during breeding season. These buffalo are going to cross all the way through here. What a lovely sighting. If baboons alarm call when they're up in a tree, impala will react and vice versa. Not react, but they will be aware that one or the other of them is afraid. So they're not necessarily linked. They will just use each other if and when they need to. This is going to be a massive herd of buffalo crossing here. I think I'm going to stop here because I've started losing the view of the crest behind me. Okay, shall we try a head count? I've kind of given up, I think. So we have followed these buffalo all the way across the property. What a treat. I am keeping my eyes open for a batelia as well. Batalias, they're beautiful birds. We see them quite often here. They'll be struggling to balance in this wind this afternoon. There's quite a breeze picked up. Alicia, I hope you've got your coffee nice and full. Daniel, I'm really glad we could show you these buffalo. To be honest, buffalo can be tricky. Believe it or not, depending on the area, depending on the time of year. I've seen, this is the biggest herd of buffalo I've seen in a very long time. Because they are grazers, now why are they running? Because they are grazers, their movements are very dependent on food availability. So if there's not enough grass for them to feed on, they leave. They go somewhere else and they're difficult to find. Also, the reserve I used to work in, they used to love hanging around in thickets, and we would either catch them crossing a road or not at all. So I'm glad I could show you, Daniel. I'm going to send you over to JP now while I watch these buffalo cross, and I think JP's found some hyenas.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment, we've got a spotted hyena that's directly in front of us and it's just coming down the road. And this is one of the largest of our hyena species and also the most carnivorous of all the hyena species. And what has happened, it's now moving off as it's been detected by a large group of impala antelope species, and they now alarm calling. And you know that his cover is blown and therefore he has to move off. And what he's probably going to do is going to probably go and try and move into this thicket that's over here onto our right-hand side so that he can use the available cover to conceal him and attempt to make a hunt. It is also very possible that this hyena is specifically hanging around in this area, as with our lionesses very close by to us. And they know that they can often steal the food from a lion if they are numerous enough. Our hyena is now unfortunately moving off. I'm just going to see if we can reposition so that we can just have another view of him. One of the most fascinating things is when it does come to lions and hyena, I'm just going to wait for him to move off into his own instead of trying to follow him, is that when it is male lions that are feeding, these hyenas will not come close to a kill. But if we have lionesses and there's more than 4 hyenas for every lioness, they're definitely going to try their very best to take that kill away from the lionesses, and generally they will be successful. And if there's a large number of cubs at the feeding, you automatically will remove those cubs away from the kill when it comes to the lionesses. Unfortunately, our hyena has now moved into the thicket. I'm just going to turn around the vehicle and turn back into this direction over here to all the impalas, which was alarm calling. We did a rough count a little bit earlier, and it seems like there's some 150 of them spread out all over this area where the open plains are. And the reason why all these impalas are here in the open, and it's because it's windy, because they can't smell effectively and they also can't hear effectively. And that's why they use this now, and that's why they were successful at detecting the hyena at a distance, even although that the hyena was using the sun from behind to actually conceal it. So for those of you that are not familiar with impala, it's probably one of the most common antelope species in southern Africa. And within the greater Kruger area and the Kruger National Park itself, they reckon that sometimes there might be some 200,000 of these antelopes. And they're very important when it comes to supporting this ecosystem. And they also will both assist with the dispersal of seeds, but also food provisioning for a wide range of different predators. And this ranges right through from jackals, hyenas, lions, cheetah, as well as species such as African wild dog. Good afternoon, Carla, and welcome to the show. We generally do have zebras on this area, and that's what I was also keeping my eyes open for, is if there's any zebra as well as wildebeest, because they too love these open areas, and especially now that it's windy, as mentioned earlier, it's very likely that they're going to move into this specific area. So one of the things that's pretty fascinating about this time over here when it comes to impala is that we actually now are going through a period which is known as a rut. And the rut is actually triggered by a shortening of day length, which again triggers certain chemical changes in these antelopes. And they break up the mixed herds and now starting to form both bachelor herds as well as breeding herds. And there's a lot of males out here busy fighting for a territory so that they can have an opportunity to mate. When it does come to the species, the longevity of that territory is actually very short. And these males might be lucky to actually keep a territory for some 8 days to 2 weeks. And that's pretty much it. Because in that time, you can't drink, you can't feed. It's just purely chasing females and chasing males and fighting with opponents that want to take over your territory. Well, we're going to hang around here a little bit longer in the hope that we can find our lioness. I'm 100% convinced that she's somewhere in that drainage line. But for now, let's go and see what Cedric is up to.
Yes, welcome back. As you can see, this big heap of sand that we got there, pretty much we are viewing. And now this is pretty much, we call it a termitarium. So it's a termite mound, not ants, but termites. So what happens with these termites, they actually really go deep underground. So you will only see 1/8 of the mound that's above ground. The rest is just like an iceberg. The rest is really kept underground. And there's a lot of chambers and a lot of areas where, of course, they grow their fungus. So it's also known as a large fungus growing termite. So they don't eat any wood or anything like that. What they do, they'll actually feed on grass or on fungus. And how they do that is they come outside, and the workers, and of course controlled by soldiers around the mound itself. And the workers will take that grass, they'll take it deep inside the mound itself, where it's kept always around about 27, 28 degrees Celsius. Very important for them to keep it at that temperature. So you'll find in summertime when it's really hot, they actually open up a lot of little chimneys, little holes around the mound itself to actually release a lot of the hot air to get it back to that temperature. Exactly what you see on top there, very much a little open gap. And in wintertime, you'll find, they'll close up all those holes, and then of course keeping that heat in at 27, 28 degrees Celsius. And of course, when they take that grass inside those chambers at that temperature, a little fungus will actually grow on the grass. So you really get a high quality fungus and you get a low quality fungus. Many times you'll find that your high quality fungus is fed mainly to the queen and the king. And of course, the low quality fungus is really to the workers and also to the soldiers. So they actually farm their own food inside those mounds. And the queen herself, she's around about 12 centimeters large. So she is really big, but she's deep inside of that mound, right at the bottom in a chamber. And of course, she gets up to around about 20 years old. So she can survive a really long time. And she bears around about 30,000 eggs per day. And how she recognizes or realizes what kind of eggs she needs to produce, it all determines on, say, 5 soldiers that died and 10 workers that died somehow. They'll actually do a chemical kind of communication all the way down to the queen, and that chemical communication will get to her and saying 5 workers died and 10 soldiers died, and she will produce more eggs to make sure that she kind of compensates for that loss in the mound itself or the colony itself. As well, it's a very high in nutrients, in minerals, and that due to the soil that's been digested by those termites and been regurgitated to the top. And of course, whatever grows on that mound is nice and sweet and much greener and lusher. Anyway, let's head back to Kelly and see what she has found.
Our buffalo have crossed out of Djuma now, and I'm going to loiter with intent on the cut line and see if any lions arrive. But in the meantime, Cecile, I know you said you love giraffe. This tree we're looking at here is a knobthorn, and actually one of its primary pollinators is a giraffe. So giraffe are very specially adapted. They can reach Males reach over 6 meters. And there's also a 6-foot band of foliage that they can reach higher than any other animal. They can easily browse the crowns of small trees, and a big bull can reach 19 feet. They've been recorded feeding on over 100 different species of tree, but they do favour these acacias, and where they have these long eyelashes, when these knob thorns are in flower and they produce almost a white creamy flower, they actually smell amazing. The giraffe will use their tongue. Their tongues are up to 18 centimeters, no, 18 inches, sorry. And they will extend those, wrap them around the branches, and even though this tree is covered with thorns, they will strip those leaves off those branches. They've also got a modified joint at the base of their neck that allows them to tilt their neck almost 180 degrees to get that higher reach there on these knob thorns. So Cecile, an African wildcat, that is insane. I have seen an African wildcat a few times, but I've never seen them here. They do look like domestic cats, but they're basically bigger and tougher. They're beautiful though. You are so lucky to see an African wildcat, especially at this time of year. The grass is starting to turn now, and slowly. I actually saw a white-tailed mongoose 2 nights ago, which is a first for me here. We see their tracks often, but this grass has just been so long. So that is fantastic. If you manage to get a photo, I'm going to be eternally jealous. I'm also keeping a lookout for battaliers. At least you're with your coffee. Elephant. Where might I find an elephant? Linda, I think I might start heading south. You said you wanted to see wild dogs. There were rumours of tracks, so maybe I will start to head south. And in the meantime, I'm going to send you back to JP with his impalas.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment, we're looking at a baboon that's moving in between the impalas. He's climbed right on top of that pile of wood. I think the baboons decided that watching impalas fighting at the moment is most likely spectator sport for them. And what they're just simply doing is they're looking around and seeing what's going on. These baboons are on their way back to a tree where they'll go and roost now for the evening, as they're a day active species. And just like us as human beings, their eyesight is not very good at night. So therefore it's safer to be up in a tree. What I do find particularly interesting is that the largest and most dominant individuals, which are the males, will have the most secure sleeping places in that tree, while the less dominant individuals and the females will be sleeping on the outskirts of that tree, which leaves them slightly more vulnerable to predators such as leopard that might potentially take them. So you might wonder, why would baboons have a lesser rank will put up of being at risk like that? The reward is actually pretty big, because on the end of the day, these incredibly large males will very quickly react if there's a predator and attack that predator and mob it and sometimes kill it. And baboons are actually well known for killing leopards if they have singled them out, and there's a large number of baboons. And their fangs is actually longer than that of the lion. Well, coming back to the impalas also benefit from these baboons that we see over here at the moment, because if these baboons do see something such as a predator, they will immediately alarm call. And in response to that, they will start alarm calling and focus on where the threat is as well. But when there's so many different animals in the area, then there's also less chance that it's you that's going to be taken by a predator. But there's also another reason why impalas and a host of other antelope species will benefit from baboons. And one of those is that baboons are quite messy feeders. And when they do feed, they drop a lot of food particles down to the ground. And then simply the impalas will pick those up and consume them. I'm really glad that we could get you a baboon. I love primates. It's a really interesting group of animals to watch. And unlike most of the large cats, which tend to be quite inactive, baboons are always doing something. If they're not fighting, they're playing, or simply just looking for something to eat. One of the things that I do find particularly fascinating about their eating behavior is that they tend to stuff their cheeks full of food, and then only will they start eating. And this is a strategy that they can use to actually get away from potential dangers without only a mouthful of food, but actually now having several cheeks full of food, and then they can go and feed when they feel safe. And come back to our impala. We already mentioned that they're one of the most numerous animal species out here, and that they're often predated on by a wide range of different animals. But when it comes to the lambing seasons, we also find that baboons will quite often predate on the young lambs, and it's not uncommon to see a large male baboon with an impala lamb that's torn in half and being busy consuming that. It's amazing how many baboons there is. Every now and then there's another head that pops out from behind a tree, or just simply from behind a rock, or one of these little bushes that they are on. One of the things that I was hoping to show you is that these two male rams over here in the center of us, roughly in 10 o'clock of our vehicle, has actually been fighting a little bit earlier. And what they're really hoping to get is, one of them is hoping to get access to all these females and exclude the other ram. And as if they're fairly equal in size, they will be quite a lengthy battle when it does come to serious fighting. I've also noticed that there's a few other rams that has now come into the area with the hope of also having an opportunity to exclude one of these males and possibly taking over the territory. When it does come to impala, they're also quite unique in a number of different senses. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But for now, let's go and see what Cedric is up to. It sounds as if he's actually found one of my favorite antelopes, which is a kudu.
Yes, welcome back. I'm so glad. I know, JP, I also agree with you. It is a beautiful antelope. This is known as a kudu. There's a couple of females. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of thick vegetation there. But they are absolutely really stunning antelope with that beautiful white stripes coming down the sides of them. And each one's got really a different kind of patterning of stripes that comes through. Well, the main reason for those patterning, or for the stripes itself, is to really break the outline of their bodies. As you know, a kudu is very much a browser, so they do browse on leaves. So they're always found in really thick vegetation, and because being found in thick vegetation, it's a little bit more difficult for a predator to really pinpoint a kudu itself because of those stripes. Now, of course, the females are around about, they're very much family orientated, so you'll find the females itself without the horns, where the males have got the horns, but the females is really much related to each other. So you'll find like they are sisters, daughters, aunties, grannies, they're all very much related to each other. But the males, they will get kicked out of those breeding herds or the family structured herd at around about maybe 2.5 to 2 years old. And of course they'll go venture off and also maybe join other males, like a little bachelor herd somewhere. And bachelor herd meaning, of course, it's just males in a herd. It's safety in numbers. And in these family herds, they will be really controlled by a dominant bull. And the male kudu is one of the most stunning antelopes that a person can really see around here in South Africa or in Africa itself. They've got these real kind of twisted horns, like spiraled horns. It looks like a corkscrew. If you think about a corkscrew, stunning. Liz, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Why do kudus have twisted horns? Look, the thing is, the whole thing about twisted horns as well, it's part of the family of the Trigolaphus family. You'll find it the same as the Nyala and the bushbuck. It's just really for that species. But the reason for the twisted horns is there's no real specific reason for it. They do spar against each other, they do fight against each other, but of course that sometimes can get, those twisted horns can get tangled, and they can actually get stuck. But these kudu, one or two of them are looking quite intensely into the bush here. I thought they might have seen something. But they are one of those animals, or the antelopes, that actually really give you a proper alarm call, like a dog, like whoo, like a big noise. And when that does happen, you know there is a predator. You know that they are looking at something like a lion or a leopard. They don't give false alarm calls. Sometimes you'll find things like impala, squirrels, birds. They will give sometimes, unfortunately, a false alarm call. Or not just a false alarm call, but maybe they might be alarming for something like a bird of prey or a snake or something like that. But of course the kudu's only really alarm call for something substantial. But they are really beautiful antelope, really big ears as well, like satellite dishes. So a very good sense of hearing. So just in case of anything that's approaching, especially in the thick vegetation, which is their preferred habitat, you'll find that that sense of hearing really comes into play. And it really helps him to detect anything that's coming through. But those spiraled horns, the male spiraled horns, I know that back in the days we had that 2010 Soccer World Cup here. And when we had the 2010 Soccer World Cup, of course what happened is they had a thing called the vuvuzela. And the vuvuzela made that funny trumpet noise, like that at the stadiums. And of course the people here in this area, they did not have any vuvuzelas here, and it was very festive with that Soccer World Cup. And of course what they did, if a kudu dies, you can take those horns, well not from here, but I mean like in other concessions and all that, and you can actually make a thing called a kuduzela. So the kuduzela acted exactly the same, so you'll actually use it as a trumpet as well, and it actually made a better noise than a normal plastic vuvuzela. So yeah, no, that is always a good thing. Even sometimes calling for dinners, some of the lodges, they use the kudu horns like a real trumpet. So if the dinner, it's like a dinner bell, but a dinner trumpet. And just before dinner starts, they would actually use it. Anyway, while we sit here and listen out, let's head back to Kelly. I think she's going to try and see if she can catch up with any of those big buffaloes of hers.
Hey Cedric, that sounds like fun. Alrighty, this herd of buffalo is actually split, and we have the back lot, which have just finished drinking at the dam where the dam cam is, and the other group has carried on across Buffalo's Hook cut line. It could be that it's been two separate herds all along. They've just been moving in a sort of group for safety. I've actually got a really nice view of this open area here. Lego, an average male buffalo, a big male buffalo, I think they can get up to about 700 kilograms. Average is probably a little bit less than that, but they are big animals. That is a whole lot of buffalo. I think a big male can actually even outweigh that. Topping the scales probably 800, but average, so females weigh significantly less. I'm going to say probably an average about 600 or 700 kilograms. I'm going to move forward a little bit. These buffaloes, I think they do want to cross the road, and while there's lots of them here. While it's normally fine, I don't want to end up sat in the middle of these buffalo or to block them from crossing. I'm going to try and find a spot where I can see the buffalo and the open area at the top there. Chloe, buffalo are part of the Big Five because the Big Five were named as the most... Hello guys. I don't want to scare you. Let me move forward and then you can cross the road. Sorry Chloe, I'm talking to the buffalo. They were originally part of the Big Five because they were the most difficult animals to hunt on foot. That's where the term Big Five has come from. I'm going to go down here a little bit. So it started with the hunting industry and has ended... Oh, there's one on the island here still drinking, Odie. So it started with the hunting industry, the most difficult animals to hunt on foot. And the photographic safari industry has taken the term Big Five. That's where it's come from. I've been watching this island grow in the middle of the dam here for the last 3 weeks, and this island wasn't here 3 weeks ago, but it's rapidly dropping water levels. And this spot here also gives me a really nice, clear, open view of this open area very close to the dam. And I think we all know what I'm looking for. Cecile and Cynthia, you are hoping to see lions. This is my tactic. And from here we must just cross our fingers. Maybe we'll see some tawny heads crossing this open area. Cecile, yes, they are intimidating, and yes, they potentially could. This is why I give animals lots of space here. It's unusual, but it does happen. And my policy is, Cecile, I never want to interrupt any of these animals' behavior. This is their space. Oh look, we had an elephant in here yesterday. I'm going to drop down and see if we can see this buffalo. So these are not water buffalo. They are African buffalo. But this is crossing the dam. I'm not going to go too much further. I can't get that, sorry. Oh look, there's a couple in there. Odie, I'm going to go around. Sorry, I'm messing you around. Odie, our amazing camera operator, is trying to get you the best shots here, and I keep changing my mind. They can be intimidating. I have seen video clips of them attacking vehicles. I have never got myself into a sticky situation, but it's because I give these animals lots of space and lots of respect. Let's get around here and catch these buffalo in this dam. This is very cool. Oh, fantastic! We managed to find some primates for you. That's awesome news. I'm going to send you over to JP, who's with some baboons.
Welcome back to Pridelands. At the moment we are listening to the ratting call of the impala. And the reason why they can make these loud belching like sounds is because of a specialized voice box which I have, where most other antelopes tend to whistle and do a number of other calls as a contact. It's also good to know the difference between a ratting call as well as an alarm call. As an alarm call is a snort, and that is a more nasal sound to it. And those are very important to focus on when there's a good chance to find a predator on the ground, as impala will often give away the position of predators, as it did earlier with our hyena. We also positioned our vehicle in such a way that we can potentially see our lioness if she does come out of a drainage line. But in the meanwhile, we have a number of baboons right in front of us, and one of them is actually positioned in one of my favorite trees, and this tree is known as a marula tree. And some of you actually might be very familiar with a liqueur that's called amarula cream. And for those of you that aren't, it's very similar to Bailey's. It's a cream-based liqueur, but in this case, it's made from the fruit of this specific tree, which is distilled and once it's been distilled, it's then blended with cream. That's absolutely great, and then you can use it for a host of different things. On safaris, we generally use it for morning coffee, or at sundowner stops as well. And you can mix it with a coffee or hot chocolate, or just drink it on crushed ice. You can take it to the next level, and you can even put it on ice cream. It is really good. Now, there is a story or a myth in Africa that baboons and a host of animals do get drunk on this fruit, but it's absolute nonsense. They don't get drunk on it. They just simply enjoy the fruit. And up to a month ago, we would see a large number of baboons, as well as vivid monkeys, and even species such as warthogs feeding underneath these trees as if they were laden with fruit. It's also one of the African elephant's favorite fruits, and that's also one of the reasons why one of the logos on the marula cream is the African elephant. That's why it's interesting sometimes that the fruit actually passes right through the gut of the elephant without actually being damaged at all. Good evening, Cynthia, and welcome to the show. And to answer your question, Cynthia, yes, they do get used to the vehicles as long as we professionally view them and we don't block off their escape routes. And also, if we don't push them, they will get so used to the vehicles that they just come past there. And when I approach animals, I always make sure that there's an escape route for myself and for them. And I generally will position myself into the direction of where they're moving so that they come out of their own choice towards the vehicle instead of me driving straight towards them. I also tend to never follow animals from behind, as I find that makes them incredibly nervous, especially when it comes to species such as elephant. There's a few other things that's really interesting about the marula tree that we have in front of us. And in African culture, they believe that if you do have marriage problems and you live in a small little village, the best way of dealing with these marriage problems is actually tying the couple that are quarreling to this tree. And they've got before sunset to sort out their issues. I think with a large amount of leopard, lion, as well as hyenas around, I also would like to sort out all my issues before the sunset. Much safer to go and sleep back at home. It's also believed that you can take the leaves of this tree, and by simply bathing in it, you can actually predict the sex of the unborn baby. Impalas are starting again, and you can see some of the females are running off as some of the males are chasing them. Good evening, Bobby, and welcome to the show. When it comes to the small five, it includes a rhinoceros beetle, a species of insect-eating animal that looks like a mouse, which is referred to as an elephant shrew. And then the buffalo weaver, which is one of the birds that we have in this area, and also the rhinoceros beetle. And then lastly, a small little insect, which is known as an antlion, and that's actually the antlion larvae, which specializes in catching ants. And some of these antlions will actually live in small little conical pits, while the rest of them is actually free living, and they will live directly underneath the soil and wait for an ambush for ants. When it comes to the ugly five, I've actually blocked that out of my head because there is no such thing as an ugly animal. They're all beautiful and they all have got their own unique function and purpose within the ecosystem. And they all have special adaptations to use that ecosystem to their fullest. I do know that warthogs are one of those animals, and I adore warthogs, and that's why I also refuse to refer to them as ugly. I just love watching warthogs. They're probably some of the, how can you say, quirkiest of all animals out here. They've also got their own little characters, and they're always doing something that's interesting. And one of the things that I do love about warthogs is actually watching them wallowing. A little bit earlier we were actually watching one that went right into the mud and covered himself to cool himself down, as well as to get rid of all those unwanted parasites which was on his coat. Still keeping my eyes open towards my left. I'm keep wondering where our lioness is, and I really hope that she's going to come out of a drainage line. This is now optimal conditions for her to hunt low light, and there's a consistent wind, and all of these things is definitely beneficial to her for making a hunt. We're going to stick around here a little bit longer, as we're going to very soon also lose light. But let's for now go and see what Cedric is up to.
Hey, welcome back, guys and folks and everybody. I'm just taking a look. I just had a puff adder crossing the road, one of the big dangerous snakes around here. But as we can see on the left hand side, I just want to show you a beautiful tree, this little one here on the side, an apple leaf. I can think maybe it'll just, yeah, there we go. Now the apple leaf is a beautiful, one of the nice and protected species around that we do have in this area, and also very much fed on. You can see the leaves. A lot of times you'll find certain bugs called the spittle bug. They'll actually create that little saliva bags, and they'll actually really feed around on these leaves itself. A very, very palatable tree for those bugs. As well as one of the woods that is very light, one of the most buoyant woods that you get around here. So of course it's so light, and if you love fishing, if you enjoy the fishing and you need a float, so you just actually use this as a floater. So you actually kind of, in case you want to make sure that the fish is biting, you can actually see like a little, no, it's a floater, I think that's what I call it, a floater. But anyway, and as well the canoes, you know, in Botswana they've got the mokoros. The mokoro is one of those, like a wooden canoe that you go down the rivers with. And of course, once these trees become nice and big and thick, they'll actually grab and they'll cut the tree, and they'll actually empty it out in the middle and clean it out because it's so soft, and then they'll actually use it as a mokoro, as a little boat. It's an easy way because it's so buoyant. So the apple leaf is very much used for many things around here. As well, why they call it an apple leaf, because once the leaf is really dry and it falls down to the ground, it gives us like real hard, crispy kind of feel to it. And if you actually grab it and you crunch it, it sounds like, you know, in your hand, it sounds like you're actually biting on an apple, like a so a very beautiful leaf that you actually get off them. Yeah, but it's also, it's a very slow growing tree. We do not try and drive over them. It's one of the trees that's really kind of protected in these areas. And also they don't, because the wood is so soft, if you do kind of put the tree in the middle of the vehicle, you'll find that if it snaps, it'll not grow again. Where you've got other trees, it'll actually bounce and spring up behind the vehicle itself. But this one just doesn't do it. So that's why we really are protective of our areas. And while we scan this area, let's head back to Kelly and see if she has caught up with those bovine friends of hers.
Cedric, I agree. I'm also very protective of these areas. Such special places here in nature to be respected and preserved. I'm very happy we managed to find some primates for you, Peter. Well done, JP. Our buffalo have finished drinking and are making their way north. And I'm fairly sure they're going to be gone by the morning. I'm going to loop around and have one more check and see if there's any sign of any lion tracks. But we shall have to wait and see. Thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon in the African wild. If you would like to continue watching live to see what happens next, please just stay on this link. We really appreciate everyone from APLA joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate your questions and your comments, and it's been an absolute joy hosting you this afternoon. I'm going to carry on around the opposite side of the dam to see if we can find any lion tracks, so please do continue watching.
It's just amazing how it has started going very quiet now, seeing that the sun has gone down. And the only thing that we can hear is very soft sounds which the impalas produce. Good evening, Nate, and welcome to the show. Yes, they do. When they do rest, they will actually go and lie down. Well, we're going to start moving on now that we are losing light. But for now, let's go and see what Kelly is up to.
JP, I forgot I was supposed to find elephant dung. Okay, I'm going to look for some elephant dung and potentially impalas. My buffalo have crossed north, my second buffalo crossing of the day. And I have seen absolutely no lion tracks. So I think I'm just going to scoot around past Galago Pan. And I think I'm pretty much going to hang around Voyatella Access Quarantine for the rest of the afternoon. And see if any lions turn up, if I'm honest. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's very much a case of just placing yourself in the most likely scenario and crossing your fingers, to be honest. I'm convinced there is lions here somewhere, but without any tracks or any alarm calls or any roars or anything else, it's pretty much a game of chance. See, now there's never any elephant poo when you need some. Oh, this breeze is lovely. Harriet. I've got no idea how Cedric did his leopard dance the other day, so I wouldn't really know where to start, to be honest. I suppose I could give it a go. Thanks for that suggestion, Odie. I don't really know how to start, Harriet. Harriet, are you really going to make me do this? I guess I've started now. See, climbing on bonnets on live TV isn't normally a good idea in my experience, but we can try. I'm too old for this now. My goodness. Harriet, this is your fault. How solid is this? I'm not sure this is solid. Don't turn the light on, Odie, my goodness. That makes it even worse. I don't know how a lion dance would go. I guess it's just like a type thing. Is that a lion dance? I've got no idea how Cedric did his, oh God, I can't see anything. How Cedric did his leopard dance. How funny would it be if some lions stand up? I don't think they're going to, but how about just a lion pose? I don't think this bonnet's very safe. See, now I've got to get off live as well. Didn't think of that, did I? Okay, let's try. I know that's gone horribly wrong for people before. So Harriet, thanks for that. You can have that for posterity. Not really a dance, more a more interpretive dance. Woo! I do like to live dangerously. Right, now we need lions, right? And JP, no, you can't have me doing anything with elephant dung now. Haven't heard anything in my ear for a while. It's a bit late now to get tips from Cedric on lion dances because it's happened. I wonder who would have won that leopard lion dance off. Sending you over to Cedric.
Well, Kelly, I really applaud you. Absolutely fantastic. Well, you know what? I don't think I can give you any more tips. I think that is, you know, I don't think I can give you any tips in that. I think that is that's a new level there. But well, hopefully it worked for you, Kelly. I really do. Hopefully, actually, hopefully that dance of yours will bring in the lion luck. I always believe in those kind of dances. I think it's always you've got to, you know, it's like the rain dance. You know, why do the people say rain dance? You know, you've got to come in with a certain dance move or climbing on a bonnet or something, and I think it's all mental. I think you feel to yourself that it's gonna work. It's gonna work. So maybe just hopefully you've got some accessories on you. Maybe you can actually bring some accessories on. Maybe we'll put like a couple of quarry bushes. In Hawaii, you've got those funny little things. So get those quarry bushes on and jump onto the bonnet. Fantastic. Oh, that is just classic. Anyway, so I'm going up to Buffelshoek Dam. I'm just going to take a look around here quickly just to see if anything has popped in here. Maybe Kelly's lion dance has brought luck to me for maybe finding some lions around the dam area. I just stopped quickly, just listening out. There's still quite a breeze that's coming through.
She's asked for a link. Well, that was all good fun. It's getting a little bit dark now for too many dance-offs because I can't think of anything worse than I would rather dance in the sun, in the natural light, in a nice open clearing. I think would be much more fun. Let's pop this spotlight on. It's going to give me slightly more chance of finding lions. Possibly more effective than lion dances. There's something in there, but it's an antelope. Sorry, little Dacre. I think it was a little Dacre's eyes I saw in there. Some Egyptian geese. Yes, this is going to be my tactic. I'm going to go around to quarantine and cross my fingers. Maybe that was a problem. Maybe if without the guarri bushes, that lion dance or at least lion posturing won't work. I'm gonna go and hang around on the access road quarantine. We know lions often use this access road to pass through the property, so we will cross our fingers. Definitely enjoying the idea of dance-offs though. I think it probably needs to be done. I think we're going to do dance-offs though. I think we need to think of a way of getting these camera operators involved as well. They think it's all well and good throwing these suggestions of dance on the bonnet to us, yet they never get subjected to it. So maybe in the morning we should think about, I'm not sure who's out in the morning actually. Maybe is it Odie? You in the morning? Oh, Odie said he's definitely not out in the morning. I still think it would be a fantastic idea for us to try to use these cameras and just show you how incredibly talented all of our camera operators here actually are. So maybe it's Craig and it might be Craig and Eckhart in the morning. Maybe we should give it some thought. Maybe a nice little swap over of duties, finished off with a dance. I've had no sign of eyes. I am keeping an eye on the roads as well. Terribly, I'm so glad. I'm really, really glad you are enjoying drives with us, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you joining us. This is such a nice temperature this evening. The last 2 nights have been so hot and sticky, but this breeze is stunning. I'm going to send you over to Craig and Cedric, just wondering if they can give us any thoughts or opinions on maybe a CamOps naturalist swap, followed by a little dance-off tomorrow.
Kelly's asking for a lot of trouble here because, Craig has already said, oh yes, definitely he's gonna, like you usually say, I've got my dancing shoes on. Well, he says he's gonna take his shoes off. He wants to do it barefoot, or barefoot Cully, as he calls himself. Apparently that was his nickname back in the day when he used to dance like no man's seen before. But yeah, well, I'm a bit worried about challenging Craig. I think Craig is going to be the winner. But Kelly, you've asked for now. I think tomorrow morning we're all going to put our dancing shoes on, and we're definitely going to have a dance-off. So yes. Yeah, I think some of us have had a lot of experience back in our days with a good old dance club, ballroom dancing. Rock Candy Susie, good afternoon, evening. Yes, and a lion dance off, or a lion dance, yeah, definitely. Well, Kelly's done a lion dance on the bonnet, but I think still, I believe that she needed the accessories. I believe that accessories are very important it as it is a symbol of how can I say, bringing something towards yourself and believing that is gonna. Oh no, it's not. Oh yes, it's a Mozambique spitting cobra. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Sorry guys, it's just a Mozambique spitting cobra that was on the road here. It's going across. Sorry. Ah, don't see it now. Very quick. Wow. Almost made me do a dance off right there. Jeez. I think definitely I would have been doing some tap dancing. Sorry about that, but yeah, it was a very quick one. But there was a Mozambique spitting cobra. You could just see the little speckles on the throat. A very venomous snake that we do have here, and it's very much like it's hemotoxic and neurotoxic together. So they're actually not very. They haven't really got the one toxins, but it's a spit. That's why they call it a spitting cobra. Spit at least very accurately for about 2 meters, and very common around in these areas. Unfortunately, some of the people that stay in the bush and all that, many times you'll get the Mozambique spitting cobra coming into the place. But yeah, because I think the last bit of heat and all that, just doing the last bit of hunting, that's why. It's actually our second snake for tonight. We have seen a puff adder as well, but that's just a brief visual. Yeah, there we go. Now, definitely, I'm going to be dancing in my sleep after I saw that. Fiona, good evening. That's thank you very much. Thanks for the comment. Yes, that snake did move away very quickly. I think that's a people's got it very. They misunderstand snakes because snakes are very much they rather avoid human contact, so they will rather slither away very quickly than actually really defend, or not defend, but attack a person. The attacking is really when something is a snake is cornered, and then of course disturb it while it's hibernating or something like that, then it's a problem. But other than that, if you leave them alone just like that, they'll rather avoid you. That's why we don't really see many snakes. There are plenty of snakes here, but we don't see many snakes around here, as they rather really want to avoid any of the human contact, and they don't want to have troubles. But anyway, yeah. I'm just trying to look for some eyes. Shreya, good evening. I'm glad it was. I'm glad I could share that to you, or share the first visuals of a spitting cobra for you. I'm glad it's your first one. I know you don't want to see too many of them, but some people are very afraid of snakes. I'm not too afraid. I actually love snakes. I think it's really, they're very, very cool. As I said, misunderstood. Shreya, I'm glad that you got to see your first Mozambique spitting cobra. I'm just looking around here, sometimes maybe a little bit an owl or some eyes or something, but I don't see anything at the moment. Always look at this time of the night to see if we can maybe even a nice old, what you call those things, like chameleons. Sometimes, no, I don't see much this side. Still a lot of wind. The wind is really coming from behind, and a lot of dust in the air at the moment. Oh, my eyeballs are filled with dust. I think I've got like mud pools in my eyes at the moment. Anyway, just going to continue. Let's go through this dip. I'm going to maybe lose us here. Sorry if they get a break up and all that. Looking any eye. That side.
I've just looped around the back of, what's that? Is that another little antelope? I think I see antelope is. Shame. This might be a little dacre or a steenbok. Let's see if we can find it in this IR rather. Yeah, it was just in there. His ears looked a bit small. I saw a white-tailed mongoose not far from here the other day. That was very cool. And now this grass is dropping back a bit. We're getting more and more visuals of these smaller things. Oh, I don't know where it's gone. It was just in the middle of where my light is there. I can't even see eyes now. Okay, well, it's ducked off, whatever it was. I've just had one slow cruise around Quarantine South, seeing if we can't pick up a nice big pride of lions walking across the open air of Quarantine, but I haven't had any luck. But you have got to be in it to win it, as I always say. Leopard Queen, good question. Dead or alive? If it is alive, I seen a cheetah in a tree. That made me feel really silly. I was sat with guests in an open area. There is one lone tree in this open area, and we're actually with three brothers. And we were talking about the differences between cheetah and leopard, and I said, oh no, cheetah, no, they don't climb trees. And this cheetah promptly stood up, walked over to this tree, and climbed it and jumped up into the fork of the tree, which made me feel ridiculous. So, as I always say, animals don't read the rule books. So I've seen a cheetah in a tree. I've seen a lion in a tree. That was not very elegant. Who else have I seen in a tree? Seen a couple of dead aardvarks in trees, unfortunately. I've seen leopards have put aardvarks up trees a couple of times. But yeah, probably cheetah is maybe the most embarrassing because literally, as I said, no, cheetah don't climb trees. And it was probably not quite as high as this one in front. It wasn't like a massive marula tree, but it was certainly a good few meters off the ground. So yeah, that was embarrassing. Oh, we've got a huge group of impala here. Let's have a look at these impala. I don't want to shine on them, but there's a big group of impala over to the right here. Let me switch everything off. Oops. I love how these impala gather. Oh, it's going to be a difficult night for everyone tonight, I think. These impalas are going to be very nervous because of this insane wind. They're going to be grouped tight. See there, you often find them looking in different directions, but this wind is going to be swirling hard for these impalas, finding it really difficult to work out where any smells or concerns might be coming from. Oh, what an exciting afternoon. I don't think I've ever been able to spend that long following a herd of buffalo before. What a joy. I think I'm going to wait here with these impalas and watch what they do, how they behave. In the meantime, I'm going to send you over to Cedric to see if he's found any glowing eyes in the dark.
Welcome back. I'm slowly making my way towards Giraffe. But yeah, animal that I least expected to see in a tree, dead or alive. Well, I think the animal that I least expected to see in the tree, dead or alive, was an aardvark. And that was all with Tingana. That was many years ago as well. I think that was, 2015, 2016. Yeah, so I've seen one live aardvark, but I've also seen one dead aardvark, and that's the day I saw my first aardvark. Was the one that, of course, Tingana had killed. I didn't witness it, or nobody witnessed it. It was just up in the tree with Tingana, the male leopard, busy feeding on the aardvark. I wouldn't, as I say, I wouldn't expect that one in the tree. I wouldn't expect that one at all. But yeah, cheetahs as well. That's fantastic. Nice to see always cheetahs in the tree, especially over like the fallen over marulas or something like that, really putting their scent marking on the trees. So yeah, like defecating on the trees itself. I don't see much here at Giraffe Dam. But wow, what a fantastic afternoon. I think it had been absolutely really amazing this afternoon. Yes, James, definitely I agree with you. I think with Kelly's, first of all, we have to start off with Kelly's lion dance. I think that's a classic. And of course, following that herd of buffalo for the afternoon, which is absolutely amazing. Nice to really spend some quality time with a big animal like that, or a big herd like that. And of course with JP as well in Pridelands, with all his fantastic stuff and his great knowledge on all the interesting things around there. And of course we will not forget, with Tsemba. Absolutely a surprise to all of us, and a surprise to me with his warthog kill. Of course he was on the scent of that little warthog from the word go when we found him, and he definitely got his prize at the end. Poor little warthog, but of course that's a circle of life, and that's how things happen. And of course tortoise pan as well, right in the beginning of the drive, which was also fantastic. It was also nice to pick up on him, but he definitely gave us a slip very quickly, and he forced me into really thick stuff right in the beginning. Jasmine, thank you very much for joining us on our Sunset Safari this afternoon. Yes, it was a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment, and a lot of facts back and forth. And once again, we all thank everybody at home, work, or where everybody is. Just got to thank everybody for joining us today on our Sunset Safari, and thank you very much for all your comments, all your questions, your suggestions. And it really makes it worthwhile as well for us to have a nice little chat with everybody around here and on the live and interactive safaris that we do have. But yeah, as the sun has set and it seems like it's going to be a nice little bit of a windy evening here at Jima Private Game Reserve. I think definitely from the Wild Earth team, from far abroad and from here, we all say thank you very much and have a wonderful day, evening. Good night.